What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. We have yet another U.S. bank that has failed worth several billion dollars. I'm going to give you the details on that here. And we're seeing food prices spike here yet again. And well, they're saying that things are going to get even worse. Take a look here. Yeah, global rice shortage possible here in 2023. Prices are expected to remain high as there is a ban or I guess an export ban from India, the number one exporter of rice. Now, this is just the latest food that is going to, and remember, rice is a major staple here of food, causing mass amounts of food to spike here in price. Take a listen to this because this is not the only food here. Here we go. Yeah, these foods will be in short supply in 2023. So stock up now or find alternatives as people are like, what is going on with food prices? They're saying inflation's lowering, but that's a trick of words here because inflation is actually still going up by 4%. And it doesn't include food or gas prices, which is really a massive kind of trick of words by the government. Yeah, and 2022 was a bad year for food shortages already, with categories including eggs and baby formula hit hard. Unfortunately, 2023 could see its own bad batches of food shortages. Here's what consumers should start stocking up on now before prices soar and products likely become harder to find on store shelves. Number one, corn. Historically, Ukraine has been one of the world's leading provider of corn, but that's all changed since the Russian invasion, which is coming up now on a year and a half and has no end in sight. As such, we'll be seeing less corn. This is a pretty major issue since corn is an ingredient in so many other American products. Even if America produces enough corn, this will still raise the global price of corn, which will raise the price of corn here in the US as well. This includes products such as chips, salad dressing, and even soda, which is why you will see the price on a lot of things go up that you might not even expect. Number two, bread. Bread, flour, and wheat shortage are likely on the horizon, largely again because of the ongoing war in Ukraine, especially now because Russia has pulled out of the grain deal and will not let Ukraine send out any grain shipments through the Black Sea. So expect all these prices on all these grains, bread, flour, wheat, grains, skyrocket now even more. Russia and Ukraine account for close to 20% of the world's cereal grain production. And remember that the US doesn't buy anything from Russia now. Ukraine won't be able to ship out any grain at all through the Black Sea until they come to an agreement. And even then, when they come to an agreement, which who knows when that'll be, they'll be significantly behind. So you'll see the price of all these grains go up, 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 which will affect thousands of products. You can already hear the cash register at the grocery store going up, 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 aka inflation, which means that the Fed, Jerome Powell, will be, sitting back going, oh my God, inflation's going up. What do we need to do? We need to raise interest rates, which will again hurt people even more. It's such a backward system. The Fed is so just out of touch. I mean, yeah, raising interest rates a few times is a tried and true system, but they've gone way overboard, way overboard. They've raised interest rates 11 times now, and even Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, if you've seen that video where he was on, it's just they've just gone mad. They've just done it way too much. Anything interest rate sensitive has already done its deed, and now they're just going crazy with it. It's just overboard. And when I tell you the latest here of the latest bank failures, you'll see why even more how it all kind of makes sense when you hear it. And number three, vegetable oil. Several vegetable oils, canola oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, palm oil are expected to be in short supply over the next several months. This is due to factors including Indonesia's decision to halt an export of palm oil and continuing droughts around the globe. Number four, baby formula. The ongoing baby formula shortage is expected to last throughout the spring of 2023, according to a recent report from Reckitt Benckiser, the maker of baby formula giant. And Reuters reported the shortage is persisting, though, mainly because the issue that led to the initial shortage last year, including the piles of recall and labor shortage, led to a monumental supply shock, and it will probably take them a while to even get back to, catching up. Yeah. Number five, champagne. Hopefully, you got your fill of champagne on New Year's Eve because 2023 is looking a bit dry on bubbly. There's been a huge surge in consumer demand for champagne from 2020 as sales leapt nearly 64%. But this puts stress on the producers. Number six, canned pet food. If there was ever a time to start making your own pet food, it's now, thanks to aluminum shortage. Canned pet food could be harder to come by. And last but not least, India's ban on rice exports triggers panic buying across the US. Yeah, India's ban on certain types of rice. India is the number one largest exporter on rice, triggering panic buying. Yeah, you can see here India's ban on certain rice exports sends US consumers scrambling to find it on store shelves. And it's really just the beginning of that. I expect that to get even worse, depending on how long it goes on. If that goes on for months, which I think it will, I don't foresee them pausing it soon. We'll see. We'll see. That could get a lot worse. So I don't know, stock up on your rice. We'll see. And really, all this inflation is causing the Fed to go crazy. They just put their thumb on that interest rate red button and triggered it again, raising interest rates yet again. And I don't want to, I don't know if they're listening here, but I have a fear that they're going to do it yet again this year and maybe continue it as the problem is that they're absolutely just pounding average everyday Americans, and they're pounding the financial sector. Yet another bank fails here. Take a look. Yeah, another big bank failure. Kansas Heartland Bank closed by the FDIC. This bank was actually worth $5 billion. So not the largest bank, but still nonetheless worth $5 billion. This is the second bank that has failed in about a week. In about a week. The other bank that failed this week was PacWest Corp, PacWest Bank Corp, that was worth about 41 to 44 trillion dollars, was actually the 59th largest bank in the US. That failed here as well. That was actually, so the government stepped, or not the government, but the Fed stepped in and actually had another bank take it over. It was Bank of California, I think, took it over. And that bank wasn't even on the list. That bank was only worth $10 billion. This is how desperate they were. They had a bank that was much smaller in size take over a bank with toxic assets of $44 billion that was failing or failed. That was the only buyer they could find to take it over. This is how short they're getting on failed banks. This is now 5 failed banks this year worth billions of dollars. $5 billion, $44 billion, 3 banks worth over $100 billion, 2 banks worth over $200 billion, and Credit Suisse worth over $500 billion. Depending on what you can find out about Credit Suisse, some articles say that it was worth over $1 trillion. That was a multi-international bank that had assets in multiple different countries. It's an international thing. We got a lot of problems, and the Fed raising interest rates. Every time they raise interest rates, a lot of their assets and bonds and U.S. Treasuries go down, and that's slamming the banking sector, their investments in actually some of the safer stuff, bonds and U.S. Treasuries. Believe it or not, the stock market's going up. The stock market is actually at around a one-year high. Believe it or not, it's erased all of last year's losses. Believe it or not, the stock market's like, hey, everything's great. They're forward looking. They're like, the stock market's thinking, hey, everything's got to be behind us, right? It's got to be. You can't make this stuff up. So the stock markets erased pretty much most of all of last year's losses. Again, it depends on what stock or what index. Your results may vary. But U.S. Treasuries and bonds, actually, believe it or not, are actually what's causing a lot of these bank losses and people panicking, people withdrawing their assets, and now food inflation and gas prices are on the rise. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you up to date here with all this crazy stuff going on a daily basis. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below. Just click the subscribe button and then the bell icon so you don't miss out on anything. I'll keep you up to date here. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for liking, and please share these videos with anybody that needs to hear this information, or share it on Facebook or Twitter. If you haven't yet, click this video here to see my video I just did with Colonel Tony Shaffer. It's an absolutely stellar video. You got to watch this here if you haven't seen it. It's a great video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.